Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's November 5th, 2023, and we are in the Old Testament book of 2nd Kings. We're going to read chapter 5 today. We're going to read the story of Naaman and Elisha. Naaman is a Syrian general who has leprosy. Uh, he has a little Israelite servant girl who tells him, hey, I know somebody who can cure that leprosy. He lives in Israel. Name is Elisha. Naaman gets permission to go see him. First, they're sent to the king of Israel, who, oh boy, what, I can't cure leprosy. Why are you coming to me? So the king of Israel doesn't even understand, Elisha. He doesn't see God in here. It was all about himself. Servants tell him, hey, no, there's Elisha. Let him go see Elisha. So Naaman goes to see Elisha, and he's immediately put off because Elisha sends his servant out to deal with him. And Naaman's like, hey, I'm an important person. So he's already cheesed off a little bit, and then Elisha tells him, I want you to go jump in the Jordan River 7 times, and then you're clean, and you're done. And Naaman is furious. What? I came all this way, and you're not even going to see me, and then you're going to tell me to do something like this. I could have done this anywhere. But Naaman's servants tell him, hey, you know what? What do you got to lose? I mean, you came this way. Let's go take a bath and see what happens. So Naaman takes 7 dips in the Jordan River, and his leprosy is cured. Big change in Naaman. He comes back and falls at Elisha's feet. Oh, thank you. Everything I have is yours. And Elisha says, I don't want anything from you. Go in peace. God has saved you. Go tell everyone that God healed you. And Naaman says, well, let me take some land with me back to Syria. So he's still under that superstition that the God is associated with the land. So if he takes the land, he's taking a bit of God. But Elisha's like, God's everywhere. God, you want to take some dirt with you, take some dirt with you. But God healed you, and God can go anywhere he wants. Now, as Naaman is going home, Elisha's servant gets in his mind, hey, you know what? They've got a lot of stuff that would really be nice to have. So he runs after him and tells him this story about people coming to visit Elisha, and Elisha sent him to go get some clothing. And Naaman's like, oh, yeah, whatever, take whatever you want. And as Elisha's servant returns, Elisha says, hey, where you been? And the servant says, well, I haven't been anywhere. And Elisha says, no, God showed me what you did. Okay, the leprosy that came off of Naaman, you got it now. God sees everything. And we see that God is the God of the Gentiles in here. So we see that over and over in the Old Testament. Even though he's the Jewish God, anyone who comes to him seeking help and is truly repentant in their heart, he helps them. He blesses who he blesses. He curses who he curses. So let's go ahead, and we're going to see 2 Kings chapter 5. Now Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Syria, was a great and honorable man in the eyes of his master, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was also a mighty man of valor, but a leper. And the Syrians had gone out on raids and had brought back captive a young girl from the land of Israel. She waited on Naaman's wife. Then she said to her mistress, if only my master were with the prophet who is in Samaria, for he would heal him of his leprosy. And Naaman went in and told his master, saying, thus and thus said the girl who is from the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel. So he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. Then he brought the letter to the king of Israel, which said, now be advised when this letter comes to you, that I have sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may heal him of his leprosy. And it happened when the king of Israel read the letter, that he tore his clothes and said, am I God to kill and make alive, that this man sends a man to me to heal him of his leprosy? Therefore please consider and see how he seeks a quarrel with me. So it was when Elisha the man of God heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, and he sent to the king, saying, why have you torn your clothes? Please let him come to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet of Israel. Then Naaman went with his horses and chariots, and he stood at the door of Elisha's house. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored to you, and you shall be clean. But Naaman became furious, and went away and said, indeed, I said to myself, he will surely come out to me, and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and wave his hand over the place, and heal the leprosy. Are not the Arbana and the Paraphar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spoke to him and said, my father, if the prophet had told you to do something great, would you not have done it? How much more then when he says to you, wash and be clean? So he went down, and he dipped 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of God, he and all his aides, and came and stood before him and said, Indeed, now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel. Now therefore please take a gift from your servant. But he said, As the Lord lives before whom I stand, I will receive nothing. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. So Naaman said, Then if not, please let your servant be given 2 mule loads of earth, for your servant will no longer offer either burnt offerings or sacrifice to other gods, but to the Lord. Yet in this thing may the Lord pardon your servant. When my master goes into the temple of Rimmon to worship there, and he leans on my hand, and I bow down in the temple of Rimmon. When I bow down in the temple of Rimmon, may the Lord please pardon your servant in this thing. And he said to him, Go in peace. So he departed from him a short distance. And Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Look, my master has spared Naaman the Syrian while not receiving from his hands what he brought. But as the Lord lives, I will run after him and take something from him. So Gehazi pursued Naaman. When Naaman saw him running after him, he got down from the chariot to meet him and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master has sent me, saying, Indeed, just now 2 young men of the sons of the prophets have come to me from the mountains of Ephraim. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. So Naaman said, Please take 2 talents. And he urged him and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags and 2 changes of garments, and handed them to 2 of his servants, and they carried them on ahead of him. When he came to the citadel, he took them from their hand and stored them away in the house. Then he let the men go, and they departed. Now he went in and stood before his master. Elisha said to him, Where did you go, Gehazi? And he said, Your servant did not go anywhere. Then he said to him, Did not my heart go with you when the man turned back from his chariot to meet you? Is it time to receive money and to receive clothing, olive groves and vineyards, sheep and oxen, male and female servants? Therefore the leprosy of Naaman shall cling to you and your descendants forever. And he went out from his presence leprous, as white as snow. May God bless the reading of his word, and may God bless you. Bye.